Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome everyone to the AI 2030 show. My name is Xiaochen Zhang, the host of this show and also CEO of FinTech for Good. Today I have a special guest and Saeed. And before we start to dive into the conversation, I'd like to have you to introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Xiaochen Chen, for hosting me for this show, AI 2030 show. My name is Seed Aldhaheri. I'm from United Arab Emirates, from Abu Dhabi. I head the Center for Future Studies at the University of Dubai. We engaged with government clients and future foresights and future studies, building capacities and training for the government, trying to align with what the UAE government has announced in 2016, the UAE Future Strategy. I'm also a visiting lecturer at University of Oxford in responsible and ethical AI. I'm a member of the World Economic Council, Global Future Council on the Metaverse, and I'm on industrial advisory boards of some local universities here in the UAE and global forum as well, including the AI 2030, responsible AI for a better future, and also the World Ethical Data Foundation.
Awesome. Yeah, as you can see from, anyone can share from the titles that you are definitely just, play a very important role to just bring responsible AI to, government and through different platforms that you have. Sure. And, how has your diverse background influenced your view of AI's role in the future?
Okay, so I think being a futurist and embracing a future thinking mindset helped me really to explore the potential role of technology in general and AI in particular as a force for good to benefit society. This really became a passion for me to try to educate and create awareness in society about the positive impact of AI and to minimize the negative impact through addressing the potential risks and ethics associated with AI. I had to acquire some knowledge in data and AI ethics. So I took a course with the Open Data Institute in 2022, data ethics course, where I became a data ethics facilitator and AI ethicist. So I think this has shaped my experience and my background about the importance of AI ethics and data ethics in addressing many of the challenges that we face today and AI solutions that we see coming and touching every aspect of society. And we see number of incidents are increasing. If you look into the AI incident database from the Stanford University report, and now with the generative AI, it is expected that the number of incidents will be more than doubled in 2023. So how we can really develop AI ethically and responsibly becomes really as important as we enter now into the generative AI era.
It sounds fascinating, and everyone is still just learning, and where that I'm glad that your learning experience is now contributing to that, educating more people that who need to know about this topic, and also interestingly that many of our audience are based everywhere, but particularly in the United States, and you are based in UAE. And so what's the current state of AI adoption in the UAE and aligning with its innovation goals? And also if you can just broaden that even to the Middle East.
Sure. Okay, so AI adoption in the UAE is growing rapidly. As probably you all the audience, and that UAE announced a national AI strategy 2031 in 2017, aimed at making UAE a hub for AI development and adoption in the Middle East and globally. The AI strategy sets ambitious targets for the use of AI in government. For example, the UAE government is looking to achieve 30% boost in the UAE GDP by 2031. That is almost contributing around 100 billion US dollar to the UAE GDP by 2031. Also, UAE is trying to achieve 50% saving on annual cost to the government through the use of AI and emerging technologies. Also, UAE is looking to use AI in government services and data analytics, 100% to be used in government services and data analytics by 2031. The country, as probably you all know, that we have the government has appointed a minister for AI. It's called the AI Minister for the Minister of AI, Digital Economy, and Remote Work Applications, and has created an AI office and a National AI Council to oversee the execution of AI strategy in the UAE. Big part of this strategy is really about focusing on building talent through education and reskilling government leaders in the UAE. So for the last 5 years, the UAE AI office has signed MOUs and has conducted training, for example, with Oxford University, a 6-month training program for the UAE leaders to be trained on AI. We had another similar program with Mohammed bin Zayed University of AI. It's the first university worldwide that is focused on research and development for masters and PhD in the AI area. And we have a similar program to train the UAE executive leaders for about 4 months on AI. We believe that if those leaders really understand AI very well, then there will be, they are the ones who are going to drive AI adoption in their organization. The government has also recently, this year in April, has launched a guide for generative AI to facilitate AI adoption across the government. So we see a lot of focus on using AI and on adopting AI. And when we saw ChatGPT came around November of last year, the UAE government stand and the stand of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Prime Minister of the UAE, he has instructed the government to look into how to benefit from this technology. So we did not say that we are not going to use ChatGPT or we're going to stop ChatGPT from being used at schools, but we opened our mind into the positive and the good use cases for how ChatGPT can augment our capability, making us much more efficient, much more productive in what we do. And we see this trend is really picking up in the Middle East. If I just comment about the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, 3 years ago, they have announced also an AI strategy, and they have formed an organization called Sadaya to execute the AI strategy. So we see really not a competition, but I shall say a positive force of taking AI and trying to benefit, to see where we can use AI to serve society, to really resolve or address some of the challenges that we face today in the government or in the private sector, and also some of the global challenges that we face either in the climate change or in other areas.
Yeah, those strategy definitely sounds extremely powerful and insightful, where that's no matter from the structural, setting where have the AI minister to the training program, and then to the goals, which are I think with all the right components, definitely the world can see the excitement of AI, how AI will transform UAE or Middle East in general. And as UAE is not only leading in AI, and we have seen that UAE has metaverse strategy in the past, and also strategy around other emerging technologies. So that's a part of the broader future strategy that the country has. How does AI play a role in the government digital transformation and the broader strategy the government have?
Good question. I have published a book in 2020 called The Digital Nation, how the UAE is building a future based on tech innovation. And in that book, I have highlighted the journey of the UAE in digital transformation. So today, for example, UAE ranks 13th in the world in the United Nations e-government survey. Dubai ranks 5th in the world in the local online service index in the provision of online services. The new digital government strategy of the UAE 2025, we have a new strategy that came out about 2 years ago for the 2025, aims to achieve a better ranking in digital transformation globally, but also focuses on transforming government services to be more proactive using AI, to be data and user driven, and to be more resilient. I'm not exaggerating if I say that we have today one of the best digital government services worldwide. I can pay my utility bills online, renew my ID, my passport, conduct almost any government services online and through my mobile. We have accomplished around almost 90% of government services have been transformed online. And we're now looking to, of course, reinvent those services using AI. So, for example, the government also during COVID-19 have used AI in many ways during the lockdown period to monitor authorized traffic on the streets in the UAE. Now the government this year have come up with good use cases for use of generative AI. For example, the Telecommunication and Digital Regulatory Authority is using ChatGPT to suggest domain names for new businesses. So if you have, for example, a startup and you want to register a domain name, you can ask ChatGPT to suggest, you give it the context of the company, and ChatGPT will suggest to you the free domain names that you can go and register, with the government. This service is available on the TDRA website. Also, we've seen that some government departments, for example, the Dubai Electricity and Water Department, have been started to use conversational chatbot such as ChatGPT, where we can talk in a more natural language to inquire about our utility bills and to pay bills online. So we coming now, and last week we had the biggest computer exhibition, GITEX, for the whole week, and I've seen amazing use cases for the use of this technology. I think this is just only the starting, as we see building enterprise adoption for the technology. I think one important thing is to be aware of the cost of implementing, generative AI for the enterprise. Many, I think, they think is about only, it's a ChatGPT, I'm gonna go and use ChatGPT, but it's about putting the right strategy for the organization to use those generative AI models, and to think about, fine tuning if those organizations want to reap the benefit of ChatGPT and large language models is about fine-tuning those large language models, is about also thinking about the total cost of ownership when it comes to the technology. So I think, if I answer your question, there is a lot of things happening now in the UAE when it comes to digital transformation and when it comes to adopting AI to reinvent government services.
Yeah, what you shared is extremely exciting, and from the innovation policy side, that we have just learned from the past that public procurement has always been a very important vehicle to just incentivize early innovation or technology adoption. What UAE has been doing, and then to by transforming the public service, and then that create the early demand, and then you can already see the result, and then all what have been piloted and learned from the public sector can just really bring that knowledge to the enterprise adoption, where that like what you said, that total ownership cost and other type of insight, where that through the government data from the early adoption could potentially shed light to for the business side, and then for large scale scaling. And of course that's when you talk about the public service leveraging AI, and we have seen a lot of concerns and also anxieties around AI, that we have seen that bias, we have seen fairness or transparency, many of the issues around AI. Can you share with us what about the responsible AI and the data ethics related practice happening or framework introduced in Dubai?
Yes.
Okay,
UAE. Great. So yes, so as we, like I said, as we entering into this generative AI era, we believe, and I believe personally, that data ethics and responsible AI are becoming now more important in this era of generative AI. The UAE in 2019, we have announced through Digital Dubai Authority, or Smart Dubai at that time, AI principles, AI ethical principles, and a toolkit for developers and for users to align on common AI ethical issues, such as, for example, fairness, such as transparency, such as accountability, explainability, and interpretability of AI solution. So we have developed a common self-assessment toolkit where developers are encouraged to use it. But I am myself, okay, there is two approaches to this. One is the voluntary and the self-regulation when it comes to adopting AI ethical principles. But really, I believe that without governance and without regulation, if we leave the subject to the tech developers to decide, to decide whether to how they become mature in this journey of responsible AI, I think we always will see some incidents. I don't think, though, that regulation, if we do regulation properly, and if we do regulation in an innovative way, I don't think that innovation is going to stifle, and regulation is going to stifle innovation. Regulation is going to put accountability, which is most important. It's going to make sure, at least, that the tech developers, they develop AI ethically and responsibly. So I think this is an important thing. If the developers address ethical issues from the beginning, from the onset of the project, what we call ethics by design, or responsible AI by design, this is gonna prevent future incidents from happening, because they are addressing all these ethical concerns from the beginning. It's going to differentiate their offering in the market. It's going to create more trust between the developers and consumers. And of course, it will remedy maybe future incidents, whether it's about, could be reputational damage that is caused, as we see now many of the court cases that are raised every day about the use of generative AI, about copyright infringement, for example, and about the bias, about the misinformation, and so forth. So I think that adopting a responsible AI framework is one thing, but enforcing this framework and operationalizing this framework within the life cycle, the AI development life cycle, is becoming important. And the only way to enforce this is through regulations. Of course, we know that tech developers are driven by profit, and we see a big competition in the market who brings things first to the market. So with this rapid pace of technological advancement and innovation, and without putting really a responsible and an accountable governance framework, I don't think that we will be resolving incidents. I see that incidents is going to increase because everybody is rushing really to develop the technology and putting it to the consumer without thinking of the society as a priority. What benefit we bring to the society in the first place.
Yeah, what you explained to me, and just reminding me of a traffic, right? And where that all the cars from four direction trying to just speed to its own that destination. And if you don't have a traffic rule, and then everyone is trying to just go there first, and what will be the result, right? And of course, that's having the right traffic rule, and then that kind of thing. Although you can just drive fast, but you will drive safely. And I think both are really, both sides are important.
And I want to remind ourselves. I mean, I quote Demis Hassabis, the founder of DeepMind, when he was asked about the principles of Silicon Valley, let's move fast and break things. He said it is important not to move fast and break things when it comes to AI. I'm not saying that we need to stop, but we need to at least put priorities of the society, the human-centered approach to the design of AI, so we can implement ethical and responsible AI by design from the onset of a project, and we take it seriously. As you saw, many of now, if you compare the number of data scientists and machine learning experts in a firm compared to number of AI ethicists, that the statistics from the Center of Humane Technology is 30-1. You have 30 data scientists and machine learning engineer against one data ethicist or AI ethicist. So how can we prioritize, the safety of people, the benefit that we bring to society, at the same time, we introduce innovative solution. So it's a win-win situation for both the developers as well as for the society. I think becomes important when we go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that not only that, you mentioned that it's disproportional in that sense, right? But in addition to that, when you look at the data scientists and all that they are not trained with ethics, and even they want to just do it ethically, responsibly, but without the professional training or education, and then that is becoming hard. So then you do need to just by design having that right portion, right balance. And my last question is, looking ahead to AI in 2030, what are your hopes, aspiration for how AI can continue to create a more sustainable and resilient world, both in the UAE and globally?
Good question. I have a couple of things to mention here. First of all, I hope that tech firms will prioritize societal benefits over profit and start paying more attention to responsible development of AI. I hope that governments enforce the responsible development and ethical development of AI and use of AI through innovative regulation. I think that global governance is important. So we need global governance, and we need as well local regulations. And we have, and I think we can start with what the UNESCO came up with in 2021, the UNESCO recommendations on AI ethics, which represent a global agreement among 193 member states, of the United Nations, on the UNESCO framework for AI governance and for ethical and responsible AI. If we adopt that and we take this forward with probably a global regulation, as we see now, many countries, the United Nations, you saw the Secretary General is forming an advisory team to help him navigate the risks of AI. Next month, we having a summit coming in the UK for the AI safety. A European Union is also coming with the AI regulation, the AI Act. At least it is endorsed among the parliament, but it's going now to the next stage of debate, and it will take probably 2 to 3 years for this AI Act to be enforced. I think that, with all what's happening, I believe that we need a global governance, okay, and at the same time we need regulations, okay. The point that, or with what tech firms are advocating in a way that let the industry regulate itself, I don't think this is a good approach. The industry will not regulate itself. The industry is driven by profit, and we can, we can highlight other industry. For example, look at what's the airline industry. How the airline, when it comes to regulation, I don't think that regulation is going to stifle innovation. The airline industry is very well regulated. Financial industry is very well regulated. Why not AI? Yes, I understand that the technology is, the development is happening quick, fast in the technology compared with what the government can come up with in terms of regulation. But I think if we go in a right direction and trying to produce a lightweight regulation, an iterative way of doing regulation through sandboxing, through regulation lab, I think we can address this gap between the technology pace and between regulation. Finally, for this thing to happen, I think we need to be a bit wiser. Honestly, as a human, we need to be a bit wiser in how we develop, AI to benefit humanity.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just the beginning of a much longer debate. Where that's, as you can see, that's for AI, a lot of the principles need to agree before the decision is made. Where that's, if it's a human-driven process, and human will make that decision on spot. And, many of the rules or principles, whether, that principle is socially acceptable, even beyond the economic benefits. And a good example is, in the traffic example, and to kill one or to kill many, how can, one industry to agree on that without, the fine drivers, without the government? So this is a much bigger debate beyond an industry. But of course that in each industry, as what you mentioned, has its own character, where that's, AI in financial service, AI in transportation, AI in regulated, industry in general, and AI in non-regulated industry, where that the path is very different. So, with each industry, that's how can we just understand or take that industry-specific, challenge that they face, and then to identify the right framework, the process, and the technology to enable that industry to advance safely and securely. And I think that itself is very important. That's also the reason before the conversation I share with you that we are going to have the Chicago AI conference this week, and also have the responsible AI for financial professionals. All those kind of discussions really with the same hope that for each industry, and then that that industry may need to have their industry specific responsible AI framework, practice, and even the tools, solutions to enable that industry to move forward. And I think this conversation that I'm having with you is really part of that bigger debate. And I learned a lot from you.
Good luck with the conference coming forward and Chicago. Good luck with that. I hope I can be with you on that conference, but unfortunately I have other commitments, like I told you, and I hope maybe in the future we can meet and we can address some of these challenges. I believe that what you're doing is the right thing. You need to bring this responsibility and ethics and the use of AI in the financial industry, as we see a lot of innovations happening now in the fintech area, and where there is kind of regulations, but at the same time with the new coming and the blockchain cases and the AI cases, we see a new business models, we see a new areas of that needs probably to think about the ethical and responsible development within this industry.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you very much. And I really enjoyed our conversation. And as said, this is the beginning of a much longer debate. And I welcome to have you back to join us for the future sessions. I hope our audience enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. And again, that's I will follow you and all the amazing things you are doing. And for anyone who want to just know Saeed program or initiatives, and what is the best way to follow you?
Yes, you can always reach me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so you can look into my profile and add me, and we can connect on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Then thank you, and thank you everyone who listened to us, and thank you, Saeed, again, and welcome back for our next show. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.